kind of bringing him in and then adding more value to what we learned last year, so we can launch into so many opportunities about designing your living by design. Okay, so we need to continue where we stopped yesterday, using strategy as the solution. So use strategy as the solution. Okay. Okay. Today is part 2, and today is 6th of 1, 2026. Okay. Um, apply strategic thinking to find solutions. Okay. Okay. So we have other. Okay. We have about 5 outlines for us. The first one is training for entrepreneurs, businessmen, and investors. So your context for the concept. Concept. So sorry. Number 2 outline we have to talk about is kingdom strength, of course, as a spiritual authority. Okay. Number 3, we're looking at God says by strategy. By strategy. Okay. Number 4, second to the last outline, strategic thinking, what and why. Okay. And the last one, but not the least, strategic. Strategy is the solution. So every challenges, every difficult moment you're going to face in life, think more of strategy. Strategy is the solution. So not just by effort, not just by putting in so much strength. Most of the time, you don't need more strength, you need more thinking. You don't need more effort, you just need more thinking. You need more arrangement of thought, mental arrangement of thought in a sequential order to produce a desired outcome. That is strategy. Strategy is about using more of your mind, definitely, to find solutions to problems. And then the more you think, the more clarity you get. And the more clarity you get, the more pictures you create in your mind. So the clearer the picture, the more easier for you to achieve your dream. Because the mind understands pictures. But your response to pictures faster. Yours or your body responds to what? Very, very important. So we did something yesterday about context for the concept. And even though you are not yet there, in the spiritual, everything is. But in the material, everything needs to manifest. It's a period of manifestation to materialize your ideas, your thoughts. So, and we said yesterday that why strategy matters more than strength is because strength is overrated. And most of the time, most of the battles you will not turn to war. Battles are the small one. Wars are the bigger picture. But some battles you don't fight, don't need your time. That don't deserve your energy, don't deserve your focus. So it's a big distractions. So if you depend on the Lord, of course, if the Lord is your strength and you depend on his power of his might, as well the strategy as the spiritual authority rooted not in the physical ability, but in the spiritual authority. So it's like moving in with a badge as a police officer. You're not going to work based on your strength, but the authority that sent you, whether a nation like Nigeria, a kingdom, or whatever police the force you are, maybe the village local vigilante or police. So you are not working based on your power of your strength, but the authority of which that you are functioning from. So it's very, very important that you depend on the spiritual authority as your legal right to represent he that sent you. So he that has the ability, which is God. So with that consciousness and always moving with the name of the Lord to do things this year, going to make a lot of sense as an entrepreneur, because God's strength works best when you acknowledge our weakness. So you have to invite him. There are some battles you just look and ignore because they don't deserve your time, they don't deserve your energy, and they don't deserve your focus. They are actually distractions. So you have to you are not expected to win by force this year. That putting everything I must do. No, most of the time you are expected to just depend and win by strategy of living most of the battles, most of the wars to for the Almighty God, and that is why it's very important because there's some win that even if you win, you lost your time, you lost your energy, you lost your focus. So there's no need. It's a loss even if you win. So many people ask God to make them strong in prayers when they go through difficult moments, feelings overwhelming, surrounded by enemies, forces, the hostiles and antagonistic people. Instead of depending on the doors, on the strength of the Almighty God to deliver them, and instead of moving with those, moving with the authority that has to do with the spiritual authority of He that sent him, like a legal right to represent Him that sent him. So it makes a lot of sense. If God has a weakness, it is us. If we have strength, it's in Him. So this is not me suggesting that you should not build up yourself. But I should not get smarter or stronger or wiser or taller in any area of your life. But absolutely not. But something that you have to depend on the spiritual authority is to be able to overcome obstacles, hurdles, mountains that might stand on your way, and depend on supernatural intervention will make a job more easier for me and you. That is why it's one of the strategies the kingdom strength, that is spiritual authority. So strength in the kingdom simply equals spiritual authority, not ability alone. So this year, don't push too much, and why not depend on Him that sent you? So you can see this gentleman called David. He actually had some skills and competence, but when he was fighting Goliath, he has to depend on the spiritual authority. So God's strength is perfect in our weakness, and that is the truth. Weakness makes room for God's power to manifest in our life. So we must acknowledge your weakness to experience God's strength in any area you need improvement. So, and yesterday we discussed so much. You don't win because you are strong. You win because He is with you, and that's a consciousness. It will make a lot of difference in your life. And we discussed yesterday about so many people yesterday. Your weakness is a strength if you acknowledge that you need God in that particular area of your life. So Noah actually depended on God's instructions. God's obedient to instructions. He obeyed the God's instructions. That was a strategy to actually build an ark to survive the flood through divine strategy. And actually, that has been the way God does it. But why we have to bring these things so that we have to prove to you that the way God does things is actually He moves with patterns. He moves with, of course, the particular way He does things. And one of the ways He does is that when something happens once, of course, the first time it's either good or bad. That's what we start to